than the Republican debate. But we want to welcome everybody to tonight's show. You listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. The call-in number is 888-669-2281. 888-669-2281 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. We have a fantastic show planned for you tonight. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined by Paul Taylor, who's with the Detroit Million Man March Alumni Association. They're going to talk about the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March and their celebration that's coming up this Friday in Detroit at Al-Kibalan Village in Detroit. You don't want to miss that, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Al-Kibalan Village in Detroit. We have information on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. The African History Network. I will be there also. You don't want to miss that. And we're going to have Paul Taylor on at the bottom of the first hour. Also, we're going to continue our discussion dealing with the Justice or Else rally that took place this Saturday on the Nation's Mall in Washington, D.C. It was the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, so we'll share some more information with you about that. They talked about it this morning on News One Now with Roland Martin. So we'll talk about that. And, yesterday was Columbus Day, okay? It's interesting that 2 days after the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March was Columbus Day, and we know that there were Native Americans represented at the Nation's Mall this time as well, and they spoke. And one of the things I talked about is how is very interesting that speakers, at least I didn't hear, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this, none of the speakers actually told the truth and said that the first Native Americans were Africans. African people are indigenous to this land. African people are indigenous to North, Central, and South America, and we've been in this country that's today called the United States at least 51,700 years. At one point, some groups of people called it Turtle Island. There were numerous names for this landmass that we call the United States of America. So we're also going to deal with evidence that proves that African people were in the Americas before Christopher Columbus. We talked about Columbus yesterday, and we're going to talk a little bit about October 12th today as well. There was an article from History.com I did not have a chance to share with you last night that deals with Columbus's first voyage. Okay, we'll talk about that some. Last night we talked about some African explorers who we should celebrate instead of Columbus, like Abubakar II, also known as Mansa Musa II, or Juan Garrido, or the Nino brothers, Pedro Alonso Nino and Francisco and Juan Nino, or Estebanico, also known as Esteban. Okay, and we posted that article on our Facebook fan page yesterday, the African History Network. Okay, look, we're coming up on commercial break. We're going to talk about this on the other side of the break. You can give us a call, 888-669-2281, 888-669-2281 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. We're going to post the information on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. Share that on your own Facebook fan page or your own Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in also, okay? And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TuneIn.com, and Periscope at Michael Imhotep. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TuneIn.com, and Periscope at Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Check out the video of the interview I did last night with Jim Klingman, co-founder of 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors. We have it on our Facebook fan page. The African History Network is on our YouTube channel, MJ Rob 1914, MJ Rob 1914. And we're going to broadcast on Periscope tonight very shortly. I have to set that up. So we'll broadcast on Periscope also, okay? All right, we'll be back in a few minutes.
Performing for a crowd to be dating me as they jam and rate me for who I was and not rate me for who I am. The lessons that we had was like 20 years in the past. The people in the U.S. they thinking that was our best and our success was the fast 3 hits, about all we had. Despite it, we don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the doubters think again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend. So we
Afro Man episode 3 is finally here, and it's even better than episode 1 and 2. Afro Man and the Protector.
HOTEP, African History Network listeners. October 15th, tax extension deadline time is almost here. If you still haven't filed your taxes for 2014, let G&G Associates help you out. G&G Associates Tax Preparation Services is a black-owned business focused on easing our clients' minds on all their tax preparation needs. We guarantee to beat any other tax professional's price. All new clients who go to our Facebook page and like us will receive a 15% new client discount. You can find us on Facebook by going to hashtag G&G Tax. That's hashtag GNGTAX. Or you can visit our website at gngassociates.net and click on the Taxes tab. Or call us toll-free at 877-220-8333. Again, that website is gngassociates.net.
Everybody shake your head, shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tomb, child. We're alive now, we're alive now, we're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
The more gangsters talk about dying and crack cocaine in the violence, the station saturated with it, the more our music be thriving. People compare and contrast. Whatever our beat lacks is made up by the mere fact we're the only other option. Seems like I'm an alien, 40 plus years and up. 45 is something real that the present say they don't want. So the present don't really get my presence and all my points. Now I think, work, play it, and live it. We're aching.
Negro leader Malcolm X.
Sir, what's the real reason why you two men split? Is it merely ideological, or is it personality? What else?
Probably personality. It was not the statement that originally was given by the movement when we split. More personality than anything else.
You've called people like Martin Luther King, who just got a Nobel Peace Prize, an Uncle Tom. Is this correct, first?
Well, I'd rather say that in the States, there's a law that has recently been passed, or a decision handed down by the court, wherein if you call someone an Uncle Tom, they can sue you for libel.
Well,
so I never refer to them as Uncle Tom. I would say that Uncle Martin is my friend.
Uncle Martin is your friend, yet you would disagree with his approach to what he wants to accomplish.
Definitely. If his approach would bring about what the black man in America needs to completely eliminate the problem that we have, I would say well and good. But I very much doubt that anyone who adopts the approach that Martin Luther King has been teaching to our people in that country can point to any meaningful gains that has actually served to solve the problem.
Black Muslims have sometimes, whether you have or not, and I think probably you have sometimes, it seemed to me, been preaching hate to meet hate.
I don't advocate any kind of hate.
But there's a lot of talk that sounds very much like it.
No, I think that the guilt complex of the American white man is so profound until when you begin to analyze the real condition of the black man in America, instead of the American white man eliminating the causes that create that condition, he tries to cover it up by accusing his accusers of teaching hate. But actually, they're just exposing him for being responsible for what exists.
Well, that's something of an argument, but I've heard speeches made by some of the people of your group. I think I've heard you make speeches. It seemed to me that you were advocating what I would have to describe, I think, as violence to meet the serious injuries that have been done your people, with which I totally agree.
I don't call that violence. I don't in any way encourage black people to go out and initiate acts of aggression indiscriminately against whites. But I do believe that the black man in the United States and any human being, anywhere, is well within his right to do whatever is necessary, by any means necessary, to protect his life and property, especially in a country where the federal government itself has proven that it is either unable or unwilling to protect the lives and property of those human beings.
Just before Pierre takes it, you've got a pretty good fighter and the world's heavyweight champion lined up with you to help out. Yes, Pierre.
Well, Mr. X, I guess I call you that. Is that the proper appellation?
Yes.
Mr. X? I'm wondering if you still believe, as I think you certainly did at the time you were allied to the Black Muslim movement, in a segregated black nation in North America.
I don't believe in any form of segregation or any form of racism. I'm against any form of segregation and against racism.
Am I right in saying that the Black Muslim movement, which you have left, did believe in that?
Well, Elijah Muhammad taught his followers that the only solution was a separate state for black people. And as long as I thought he genuinely believed that himself, I believed in him and believed in his solution. But when I began to doubt that he himself believed that that was feasible, and I saw no kind of action designed to bring it into existence or bring it about, then I turned in a different direction.
Are you still a Muslim yourself?
Oh, yes. I'm a Muslim. I believe in the religion of Islam, which believes in brotherhood, complete brotherhood of all people. But at the same time that I believe in this brotherhood, I don't believe in forcing my desire for brotherhood upon those who aren't willing to accept it.
Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. All right, that was a interview with Malcolm X from 1965 in Canada, the Canadian Broadcasting Company. He was on a show called Front Page Challenge. Okay. If you have a question or comment, give us a call, 888-669-2281. 888-669-2281 is the call-in number. Now, on the Michael Imhotep Show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct your own behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you have been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the show. We deal with current events, history, politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. You can also go to our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and sign up for our email newsletter there. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TuneIn.com, and Periscope at Michael Imhotep, I-M-H-O-T-E-P. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TuneIn.com, and Periscope at Michael Imhotep, I-M-H-O-T-E-P. You can also go to, also follow us on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network. Now, remember, the Empowerment Bundle Pack is still available. 1 and 2, you get 6 of my DVD presentations for only $50. Check that out at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, we're going to broadcast on Periscope a little bit tonight, so I'll set that up in a little bit here. Now, this weekend, it was either Saturday or Sunday, one of them. I don't remember which one. But information came out regarding the Tamir Rice case, an update on the Tamir Rice case. And a report came out stating that the actions of the officer, Timothy Loman, who shot and killed Tamir Rice, were reasonable. They were reasonable for a police officer. Now, many people disagree with this. I'm one of them. They talked about it this weekend on Alex Witt on MSNBC. And George Louis was sitting in for Alex, and he interviewed Georgetown University law professor and former federal prosecutor Paul Butler about these new findings. Let's go to the clip.
And welcome back to Weekends with Alex Witt. I'm Richard Louie in for Alex today. We're going to move now to Cleveland, where the family of Tamir Rice is voicing its outrage over the findings of 2 reviews commissioned by the prosecutor's office and released last night. A retired FBI agent and a prosecutor from Denver in 2 separate reviews say that rookie police officer Timothy Lohman used a reasonable use of force when he approached and fatally shot the 12-year-old boy in November of 2014. They each say here they were evaluating Officer Lohman's actions under the U.S. Constitution and not Ohio's laws. Lohman and his partner were responding to a 911 call of a man waving a gun. That gun turned out to be an air gun. In a statement, Prosecutor Timothy McGinty says, in part, "We are not reaching any conclusions from these reports. The gathering of evidence continues, and the grand jury will evaluate it all. Additional analysis has been commissioned and also will be released when completed." An attorney for Rice's family released this statement saying the Rice family and Clevelanders have always said that they want the officers who rushed upon and killed 12-year-old Tamir held accountable. The family now believes that the prosecutor's office has been on an 11-month quest to avoid providing that accountability. Any presentation to a grand jury without the prosecutor advocating for Tamir is a charade to get so-called experts to assist in the whitewash when the world has the video of what happened is all the more alarming. These supposed experts, all pro-police, dodge the simple fact that the officers rushed Tamir and shot him immediately without assessing the situation in the least. Reasonable jurors could find that conduct unreasonable. They will never get the chance because the prosecutor is working diligently to ensure that there is no indictment and no accountability. Who will speak for Tamir before the grand jury? Not the prosecutor, apparently. And that's the response from the family. Joining me now is Paul Butler. He's a professor at Georgetown University and former federal prosecutor. Thanks for being here, Paul. We laid it all out there. You've been able to read through those reports. What's your response?
You know, these reports by investigators who were handpicked by the prosecutor's office justify the cynicism that a lot of people have about the criminal justice system. While no case against police officers is easy, this is as easy as it gets. If you can't get a prosecution in this case where a 12-year-old boy is rushed on by officers who jump out and one shoots him, you can't get if you can't get a prosecution in a case like this, you can't get a prosecution in any case. This is a violation of what any cop learns in the academy. If you get a call about a shooter, you cover and communicate. You don't expose yourself to fire and then use that as an excuse to shoot the threat. So again, it's just incompetence, gross incompetence.
All right, putting on your prosecutor hat here, I'm going to look more closely at the reports. Prosecutor Lamar Sims saying this: Officer Lohman's actions were objectively reasonable. Going on to say, former FBI agent Kimberly Crawford saying this: not only was Officer Lohman required to make a split-second decision, but also that his response was a reasonable one. Looking at the language used here, objectively reasonable, split-second decision. How will this play out for the grand jury?
You know, if I were prosecuting this case, this is what I would want the grand jury to know. When the officer jumped out of that car and shot Tamir, the car was still moving. That's how quick it was. It was less than 2 seconds. So the question for the grand jury is this what a reasonable police officer would do? And the answer we know is no. If we look at the background of this cop, he literally failed police academy. Why? Because he had a dangerous loss of composure when it came to shooting incidents, just like this. This is the cop who shouldn't be on the force. The grand jury will be allowed to consider all the circumstances, including the fact that as Tamir lay bleeding and dying on the ground, 12-year-old kid, neither cop touched him. What did the cops do? His sister, Tamir's sister, was to they jumped on her, put her in handcuffs, and put her in the back of the car. So all
right, we have to pause it right there. We'll continue this another side of the break. We'll also be joined by Paul Taylor of the Detroit Million Man March Alumni Association, to the Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network. We're now just power. We'll be back in a few minutes.
performing for a crowd that be dating me as they jam and rate me for who I was and not rate me for who I am. The matches that we had was like 20 years in the past. The peace with the U.S. They thinking that was our best and our success was just a fad. We hit about all we had. Despite it, we don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the doubters think again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend. So we live stronger, healthier, live longer, win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is the rest in development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey. Ready to get that? Come on, child. We're alive now. We're alive now. We're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
The more gangsters talk about dying and crack cocaine in the violence, the station's saturated with it, the more our music be thriving. People compare and contrast. Whatever our beat lacks is made up by the mere fact we're the only other option. Seems like I'm an alien, 40 plus years and up. 45 is something real, it's the presence they don't want. So the present don't really get my presence and all my points. How I think, work, play it, and live it with aching joints. They're acting like I'm dumb, including my only son, he's 16, acting like that he's going on 61. It's like as if hype equals might and wisdom. He smirks like he knows what I'ma say before I'm done. He just wants to have fun, wanna eat, wanna lay, wanna shop, wanna look a certain way, wanna chill. You wanna stop that craziness. You in this generation is raised up with pure laziness. Am I further dating us? I know it. They wanna put in their headphones, escape of the world. They wanna get up on their cell phone and relate with little girls. I can dig it to about 5 feet, 11 inches, but the last inches where my digging stops. I don't do ditches. I won't put you to death. I brought you life through my sperm and my music. Yeah, I brought it twice, so we doing it live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is the rest in development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is the rest in development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody, shake your head, shake out the devil now.
Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. All right, that's Living by Arrested Development. Living by Arrested Development. Visit their website, arresteddevelopmentmusic.com, arresteddevelopmentmusic.com. All right, we're going to be joined by Paul Taylor in a few minutes here. Right before the break, I was sharing with you this the story about an update on the Tamir Rice case, and you've had a review commission. You've had a report that came out. You know, the Root.com has an article about this. 2 independent experts conclude Tamir Rice shooting was quote unquote reasonable. Okay. The family's attorney calls the experts pro-police and questions the prosecutor's commitment to pursuing justice for 12-year-old Tamir Rice. Now, you had a report that came out that stated that the reaction or the actions of Timothy Loman to shoot Tamir Rice were reasonable for police officers, what a reasonable police officer would do. Let's go back to this clip from MSNBC.
Like bleeding and dying on the ground, 12-year-old kid, neither cop touched him. Mm-hmm. What did the cops do? His sister, Tamir's sister, was distraught. They jumped on her, put her in handcuffs, and put her in the back of the car. So all of this is evidence about the state of mind and consciousness of guilt of these 2 officers.
I want to share a little bit from Prosecutor McGinty in his statement, critical of the police union, and I'll read from it. The union operates by double standard. It rightly asks the general public to have the courage to cooperate with police in serious criminal investigations, yet when the conduct of officers is being investigated, refuses to help. The police union statement here does not address the prosecutor's criticism, but does say this in part. While we agree wholeheartedly with the findings of the independent investigators, we are not celebrating them. What kind of impact does the grand jury here, as we look at this, will it have if police do not cooperate as they move forward in this?
You know, I think grand jurors understand that everyone who is a suspect for a crime has a constitutional right, including a Fifth Amendment privilege, not to incriminate themselves. Here's the thing. That never stops prosecutors from bringing cases. If I'm representing a client and I know the government's looking at them, I tell them not to talk, assert the Fifth. But people in that situation get prosecuted all the time. Again, there's so much evidence of gross negligence, reckless homicide in this case, that they don't need the cops. This isn't a case where you need to know a lot about police expertise. It really is what's reasonable. And anyone who watches that tragic video can believe their own eyes. It's clear that the police acted rashly in this case. This 12-year-old boy did not deserve to die.
Paul Butler, thank you for your expertise. Again, professor at Georgetown University, also former federal prosecutor. Appreciate you on this Sunday.
It's great to be here.
All right.
Okay, so that was from MSNBC this past weekend. We're going to be joined by Paul Taylor in just a minute. Let's go back to the interview with Malcolm X.
The muezzin goes up in the minaret twice a day. He cries to the world, there is but one God, and he is Allah. Do you deny that there is a Christian God?
The muezzin does this 5 times a day.
5 times, and I only heard him twice.
Well, you were fortunate to hear him twice. But he does this 5 times a day, and the same God that he says that he expresses the existence of is the God that the Christians profess to believe in themselves, and the God that the Jews believe in. One God, the creator of the universe. The Muslims believe in the God that created the universe.
All right, stand by.
The Christians do, and the Jews do. Now, as long as all of them are talking about the creator, the Jews may call him Jehovah, and Christians may have another name for him. Those who are Arabic-speaking refer to him as Allah. Well, we believe in the same God.
Now, as the Muslim religion advances in the United States, are you modernizing it or sticking with the old faiths? For example, the complete segregation of the sexes.
I think that everything today on this earth is being modernized. Religious principles and practices, as well as political and other things.
Now, when you went to Mecca, this is a very sacred and forbidden city. I tried to get to Mecca myself and certainly didn't make it. Not being
all right,
Muslim.
Paul, stand by. Stand by.
Why would they accept you as one? You're an American. There are few American Muslims.
This is true, and by being an American and not having not being able to speak the Arabic language, I did strike a snag, a very serious snag. But I was fortunate to have been pretty well known by the officials in Arabia, and they knew too that I had accepted Orthodox Islam. It had been highly publicized in the paper, and I became a guest of the state. I was a guest of Prince Faisal, the present King Faisal, and they made it.
Hey, Paul, stand by. I'm coming to you just a minute. Just stand by, okay? Just stand by. Can you hear me? Paul, can you hear me? Paul, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, just stand by. I'm coming to you just a minute. Just stand by.
Okay.
Or the committee, Hajj committee or Hajj court, who examines you and asks you questions about your belief, and if you pass it, then you are okay to go to Mecca. But
you would have to have a translator then.
I had one. Then realizing that our problem in America, that we are black Americans, and we have a problem that goes beyond religion, we formed a group known as the Organization of Afro-American Unity. And the objective of this organization, it's non-religious, number one. Any Negro can belong to it. And the objective of that organization is to bring about a condition that will guarantee respect and recognition of the 22 million black Americans as human beings. We feel that the problem, number one, of the black man in America is beyond America's ability to solve. It's a human problem, not an American problem or a Negro problem. And as a human problem or a world problem, we feel that it should be taken out of the jurisdiction of the United States government and the United States courts and taken into the United Nations in the same manner that the problems of the black man in South Africa, Angola, and other parts of the world, and even the way they're trying to bring the problems of the Jews in Russia into the United Nations because of violation of human rights. We believe that our problem is one not a violation of civil rights, but a violation of human rights. Not only are we denied the right to be a citizen in the United States, we're denied the right to be a human being.
Well, Mr. X, may I thank you very much for coming on our program and perhaps clearing away some of the cobwebs of misconception that some of us might have had about your belief. And I think you're a very sincere man, and it takes a lot of courage to admit a former belief is wrong, and we congratulate you for that and the service you performed tonight in giving us your views. Thank you so much.
All right, welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show. That was the rest of the excerpt of the interview from 1965 with Malcolm X. Okay, El Haj Malik El Shabazz. That was from a TV show called, what was that, Front Page, I think it was, Front Page in Canada. Okay, on the line, we're joined by Paul Taylor of the Million Man March Alumni Association. We're going to talk about a little bit about the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, and also about a fantastic 20th anniversary celebration they have coming up this Friday in Detroit. Hey, Paul Taylor, Hotep, how you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, Mike, thanks again. Imhotep and Hotep to you.
All right, brother, I'm all right. Well, look, man, I know you were there this weekend. We talked about this a little bit earlier today, and you have a fantastic event coming up this Friday, calling out brothers and sisters. The Million Man Alumni Association, and you're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. Before we go to the event this Friday, before we talk about that, tell us about your thoughts about the Justice or Else rally this past Saturday in Washington, D.C.
Certainly, we were honored to be there. We really, really were, to have an event such as that where people came from all over the country, maybe even all over the world, to be in harmony and in unity. Very similar to how it was 20 years ago. But I think in our mindset, at least, the major positive difference was that there was a whole lot of young folk, a lot of young adults that were there. And they were there in numbers, and they were attentive, and they were listening, and they were participating, and they were into it. And that was really beautiful to see, because too often we seem to think that it's only those of us who have been here for the length of time that we've all been here, and we wonder who is going to pick up the torch. Where is the baton going to be able to be passed to? But we was encouraged, we were, about the number of young people, young adults, who were there at the Justice or Else rally this weekend, and it was really, really good to see so many young people there.
All right, excellent. Now, Minister Farrakhan talked about a number of different things. He talked almost 3 hours. He talked about the need to buy up land in our communities. He talked about the need to boycott Christmas. Now, that's something, Christmas and Black Friday, things like that, and that's something that many of us do each year. Some of us because of the type of history we study, others because we can't afford it. But it's still good.
Well, I think you're right in both parts.
Absolutely. Now, it's still good and important to announce
but
this.
When the minister,
go ahead.
When he announced it and said to us that we need to make some impact on the economy of this country, to let it be shown and known that our finances, our resources, our money, is something they should not just take for granted. They should not just assume they can do whatever they choose to us and any way they choose to do it. And we still will spend our money and buy from their products and be as if everything is all good. And so he was saying to make a affirmative action, to make it be shown and known that we are no longer going to be treated or mistreated in this kind of manner, that we should.
Hey, you're breaking up. You're breaking up there.
Our resources. Don't spend our money with businesses and people that don't look like us.
Okay, stand by, Paul. Stand by. Yeah, you're breaking them. Hold. Stand by. We have to take a quick break. Stand by. Don't go anywhere. Stand by. All right. You listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. We'll be back in a few minutes.
performing for a crowd that be dating me as they jam and rate me for who I was and not rate me for who I am. The lessons that we had was like 20 years in the past. The peace with it in you had, they thinking that was our best and our success was just a fad. We hit about all we had, despite it, we don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making it out of sync again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend, so we live stronger, healthier, live younger, win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is? Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is the rest to development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody, shake your head, shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tombs, child. We're alive now, we're alive now, we're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
The more gangsters talk about dying and crack cocaine and the violence, the stations saturated with it, the more our music be thriving. People compare it.
Hello, African History Network family. This is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network and host of the Michael Imhotep Show and the African History Network Show. I want to let you know about a fantastic offer we have available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can get our Empowerment Bundle Pack, which is on sale right now for only $50, regularly $110. You get 6 of my DVD presentations for one low price. You'll get one of my latest presentations, Empire Strikes Black, the propaganda of the media, and Malcolm X 50 years later, why is he still relevant? This was recorded Easter Sunday, April 5th, 2015 in Detroit. Also, you'll get my presentation dealing with the history of Black Wall Street from destruction to the resurrection of economic empowerment for African Americans. This was recorded November 3rd, 2014 in Seattle, Washington. You'll get my presentation, The Distortion of the Legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., The Revolutionary Will Not Be Televised. The Revolutionary Will Not Be Televised. This was recorded on Dr. King Day, January 19th, 2015 in Detroit. Also, you get Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, What They Didn't Teach You in School, Part 1 of the Media's Deliberate Destruction of the African American Family, and also one of my presentations dealing with the prison industrial complex, Slavery's Back in Effect, the hidden relationship between the prison industrial complex, the new voter ID laws, and black population control. So you get 6 of my DVD presentations.
With aching joints, they're acting like I'm dumb, including my only son, he's 16, acting like that he's going on 61. It's like as if height equals might and wisdom. He smirks like he knows what I'ma say before I'm done. He just wants to have fun, wanna eat, wanna lay, wanna shop, wanna look a certain way, wanna chill, he wanna stop that craziness. You in this generation is raised up with pure laziness. Am I further dating us? I know it. They wanna put in their headphones, escape the world. They wanna get up on their...
Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. All right, to listen to the show, download the TuneIn Radio app to your Android phone, your iPhone, your BlackBerry, your tablet, and search for Empowerment Radio Network, Empowerment Radio Network, or go to TuneIn.com, and search for Empowerment Radio Network on TuneIn.com. We're speaking with Paul Taylor of the Million Man March, the Million Man Alumni Association of Detroit. He was there this past Saturday, 10/10/2015, at the Nations Mall for the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, the Justice or Else rally, and we're getting his thoughts, his perspective on that, and then we're going to talk about the 20th anniversary celebration that's going on in Detroit coming up this Friday at El Kibalan Village, located at 7701 Harper Avenue in Detroit, 7701 Harper Avenue in Detroit. Okay, Paul, right before the break, you were telling us what you thought of this past Saturday, and you talked about the youth were there as well, and they were attentive. About how many people did you all take with you?
Well, we took a full busload with us, 60 passenger bus, and every seat was taken. And, of course, we were just one of many buses that left here from Detroit. there was a number of buses that left, and people were there, and certainly Detroit had a delegation that I guess was second to none because we were there in numbers.
Okay, excellent. Now, I know, Minister, we were talking right before the break, Minister Farrakhan talked about boycotting Christmas and Black Friday, which I think we should for a number of reasons. If you study history, you'll learn some things. But also with the police shootings and the police misconduct that's going on, I think we should definitely do that to send a clear message to the power structure across the country that we're not going to take this anymore. But I think we need a sustained economic boycott of downtown business districts in certain major cities across the country also. Were there some things that you thought Minister Farrakhan should talk about or should say that he didn't say? What was your perspective on what he said?
I really thought that he should have emphasized it a little bit more, particularly the whole idea that they've taken a religious holiday, the birth of Jesus Christ, as they say it is, and they've turned into a total day of shopping and money spending and gift giving, and just made it probably the biggest consumer-based day in the country per year. In fact, I'm sure it is without any doubt. And so he emphasized it, but kind of thought that he would emphasize it just a little bit more, what impact we would have on the economy if we, as black people, decided we would boycott and not spend our money at Christmas time, what impact that would have on this whole society. And I'm sure he is correct in his calculation of that, and what it would really do to send a message to the economy and to the powers that be, that we're not just going to go along to get along and not be treated any old kind of way, and then we're going to still spend our hard-earned money with them and buying gifts from them. And I thought that was something that he could have emphasized a wee bit more. It was emphasized, but I thought that he could emphasize it more because some of the speakers who spoke previous to him, they began to talk about it as well. Thought that he would kind of put the icing on the cake,
right,
with the way that he would present it, and because many of us, we take a whole lot of respect of him and like to hear him speak to it, and if he speaks to it in the way that he can, it would have really, really, I think, impacted the community a lot better.
Absolutely, and it. I definitely agree with that. I know a lot of people were looking for more of a plan, if not the full details, but the bullet points of an overall plan of action for African Americans to take back to their communities, etc. So we know that Black Friday is coming up next month. We're about 6 weeks away from Black Friday, so we'll see what comes out after that. I know there is a national agenda that they have that was given out at the, I think 10 years ago at the Millions More movement, or Millions More March, if that's what it is. It's like burgundy book. It's called the National Agenda. So I'm expecting more information from that to be disseminated also. But the time is right, I think, because so many African Americans are looking for a plan, a detailed plan, which is a good sign also. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I also think that's something that we need and something that we are certainly looking for. But I do want to say that the minister did make a statement that led me to believe that possibly and hopefully he didn't want to divulge the plan. He didn't want to let the world know the plan in a public forum such as that. He wanted to kind of do it more of a down-key, kind of low profile, so everybody wouldn't be in our business to that degree. And so that's what I'm saving my grace toward, that he still has the plan, and there is a way that he wants to implement it, but he is not ready now to share that plan with everybody, including the powers that be. And so I'm hopeful that there will be some delegations of people that will come around, especially the Nation of Islam chapters in the various cities around the country, who will come around and kind of give us the plan and show us and tell us what it is that they're proposing. and how we can fit into the plan.
All right. Now he also talked about the call for 10,000 black men and women to be trained to stop the violence in the community, to stand between the guns, and he was referring to the killing of unarmed African Americans by law enforcement and the violence within the African American community. He was talking about both of them, which is important because, number one, you have about 5,800 African Americans killed in 2013, murdered by other African Americans, but 350 African Americans were killed by police in 2014. So it's many more are killed by our own people than police. So it's neither either or. We need to deal with both of those issues simultaneously. So it's good that he spoke specifically to that. And he also talked about the need to buy up land in our community, et cetera. So hopefully we'll hear more about the national agenda, especially since it was released 10 years ago, and a lot of people don't know that it exists. So this is something extremely important. Let me ask you this. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to echo your sentiment that
no, go ahead.
It's such a great need for a plan, an action plan that we can follow and make it have an impact on the community, as you mentioned, both in terms of what we are doing to ourselves as well as what those who represent the power structure are doing to us as well. So you got to have a two-pronged approach. And I do agree that is, to me, what he was speaking to when he talked about the 10,000 men and women that will be trained to do some positive things in the community. And it's overdue. We need it, and we're looking forward to find out more about it.
Right, exactly. Okay, tell us what you have going on this Friday, October 16th at Al-Kebalan Village in Detroit.
Yeah, let me please do. You know, we went to the Million Man March 20 years ago, many of us did, and we were so moved by the occasion of it, the atonement that it was speaking to, and the way people carried on, the friendliness, the godliness, the people working together. There was no negativity whatsoever. It was truly a brotherhood, and it really kind of got internal to you because you'd never seen nothing like that. And we know that there was well over 1 million people at that particular event.
Right.
Brothers were polite. Everybody was saying, yes, sir, no, sir, pardon me, excuse me. It was just a very special, special day that probably could never be duplicated. But some of us were there, and we were so moved by it that we thought that the spirit of that Million Man March should never die. And so it was on the bus ride back from the Million Man March that many other brothers that were there with us said that when we get back to Detroit, we have to keep this spirit alive. And they wanted to say, let us create an organization that would be evolving around this same kind of spirit. And so we created the Million Man Alumni Organization actually on the bus ride back from the Million Man March. And we declared that we would have it. We would meet on a regular basis. We would introduce programs and ideas and activities that we could all partake in and really keep that spirit going. And so we've done that, as you indicated, for 20 years.
Right. Hold on for a second, Paul. Just stand by. We have to take a quick break. Just stand by, okay? Stand by. All right. You listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network with Knowledge is Power. We're speaking with Paul Taylor of the Million Man Alumni Association in Detroit. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Performing for a crowd that be dating me as they jam and rate me for who I was and not rate me for who I am. The lessons that we had was like 20 years in the past. The peace with it in the U.S. They thinking that was our best and our successes was the fast. We hit about all we had. Despite it, we don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the doubters think again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend. So we live stronger, healthier, live longer, win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is? Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody shake your head, shake out the the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tomb, child. We're alive now, we're alive now, we're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
The more gangsters talk about dying and crack cocaine and the violence, the station saturated with it, the more our music be thriving. People compare and contrast. Whatever I beat lacks is made up by the mere fact we're the only other option. Seems like I'm an alien, 40 plus years and up. 45 is something real, it's the presence they don't want. So the presence don't really get my presence and all my points. How I think, work, play it, and live it with aching joints. They're acting like I'm dumb, including my only son, he's 16, acting like that he's going on 61. It's like as if hype equals might and wisdom. He smirks like he knows what I'ma say before I'm done. He just wants to have fun, wanna eat, wanna lay, wanna.
All right, Paul, we'll be back in 2 minutes, man. We're going to wrap up. This is our last segment. We're going to wrap up here in a few minutes, okay? Just stand by.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Look a certain way, wanna chill, you wanna stop that craziness. You in this generation is raised up with pure laziness. Am I further dating us? I know it. They wanna put in their headphones, escaping the world. They wanna get up on their cell phone and relate with little girls. I can dig it to about 5 feet, 11 inches, but the last inch is where my digging stops. I don't do ditches. I won't put you to death. I brought you life through my sperm and my music. Yeah, I brought it twice, so we doing it. Live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is the rest in development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey. Live it, so we doing it. Live and direct. You feel how true we is.
Because my Wall Street was black. Can you picture that? Gotta bring it back. Unify with that. Money coming back, because that money flipping back. I said my money coming back, because that Wall Street is back. Because I'm done joking, I'm heartbroken, I'm outspoken, I'm outgrowing, always open. I stay hoping, I'm God sniper, I stay scoping.
Gotta run away, I'm stage coaching. Keep the hope alive, I stay hoping. 36 blocks in a square motion. DAP like a magic potion. Hey, jealousy to catch the damage, yeah. Touch Oklahoma, little Africa. First bomb dropping in America. Tried to kill them all, we embarrass ya. Setting up a heaven in the worst terrain. Now with 40 acres and a million claim. Wanna kill us all, what you had to gain. Make them disappear like David Wayne. You ain't no man. Do the things you did. Kill my sister, kill my brother, kill my woman and kids. I'm a man. Drop a bomb to be violent. Taking pictures, you smiling. Homeless rate at $10. You ain't no man. Bombs and guns, you start piling. Straight the racial profiling. Kill 100, you wild. What kind of man? It's down for causing no.
Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network with Now Just Power. All right, that is the Black Wall Street song. That is Watoto from the Now, Watoto from the Now. Visit their website, watotofromthenow.bandcamp.com, watotofromthenow.bandcamp.com. Support those sisters doing conscious hip-hop. All right, on the line, we're speaking with Paul Taylor of the Million Man Alumni Association of Detroit. We're talking about, we talked some about the Justice or Else March this past Saturday, and now we're talking about the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, the official 20th anniversary coming up this Friday, October 16th, and the celebration that they're going to have at Kibalan Village. Okay, Paul, go ahead and finish telling us about this.
Well, I was just merely saying that it has been a historical occasion that we've celebrated the anniversary every October 16th since 1995, for 20 years. And we've had various events in various locations at the Inner City Sub-Center, surely at the Kibalan Village, and even other locations in and around the city. Because, again, that was such a monumental occasion and it has such an impact on our lives that we wanted to make sure that we pay homage and respect to it. So we'll be doing that again this Friday, the 16th, as you mentioned, at Kibalan Village, 7701 Harper. And we're calling all brothers. We're calling all brothers who went to the Million Man March and we're calling brothers who didn't go to the Minuteman March. All we ask they do is raise their right hand in the air and say, long live the spirit of the Minuteman March, and they certainly will be considered a full-fledged member and come and be a part of what we're doing. And we're also asking those of us who went to the Million Family March, certainly those of us who now went to the Just Else rally. And so we're going to have a number of people we're asking to come out and let's celebrate the true anniversary of the Minuteman March and when it took place again on October 16, 1995. There'll be entertainment, there'll be a little food, there'll be music, and then big and most of all, there's going to be a chance for us to reflect as to where do we go from here. I mean, to go to the march is great, and we had a great time. But now to come back to Detroit and say, what can we do here in the city of Detroit to help to do what the march and what the Just Else event was trying to tell us to do? We got to make a difference in our community. We got to pull our resources together. We got to put our expertise together, put our knowledge together, and have some significant impact on a change in our community. And that's what we want to start. We're going to pay homage to some of the brothers who passed away, some of our Joe Palmores, the King Joe Palmore, James Book, and others, as we do annually. We're going to certainly reflect upon what happened at the Just Else convention, or again, Just Else rally. But the biggest part of the day we want to spend on where do we go from here? What can we commit ourselves to? What can we agree upon? What can we get those of us who come together to say we want to do? We want to meet on a regular basis when Wednesday. We want to involve ourselves in some particular programs. We have some ideas. We want people to bring their ideas. For example, our food co-op program, the sole notion, if you want to help lead the people, you got to help feed the people. And we've ran that food co-op program for 20 years and working with black farmers, black vendors, and spending money with them and changing and turning that money over to our consumers so they can save money. It's a nonprofit effort. We make no money on the program. But again, we give quality food at reasonable prices. We want to expand upon that. We think that has tremendous potential. And there's other things, in working with the children at the Keebalan Village in the same vein that we did for many years at the Inner City Subcenter. We've been a part of the African Liberation Day Committee and the scholarships that we've given from that committee. The Minuteman alumni has done a number of things, but there's still a number more things that we can do if, in fact, persons want to come out and join our ranks as well as bring their ideas to us and let us all work in harmony and in unity. And that's really what it's all about on Friday, again, the 16th, 6 o'clock over at Keebalan Village. It's free admission. A person can come in, and we want to fellowship together and work together and plan some activities together. And that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, sometimes I hear people say, nobody's doing anything about this. Nobody's doing anything about this. And my retort is that there are people doing something about it. You just aren't one of them. See, birds of a feather flock together. So when you're doing the right thing, when you're doing certain things, you're going to meet other people doing those same things. If you don't know anybody that's doing anything positive, probably means that you aren't doing anything positive, okay? So we really need – go ahead.
I think that's a good way to put it, Mike. I really love you for that. I think that's a good way to put it because we've been involved for the full 20 years. And now we're not pretending or acting as if we're the only ones, but we have certainly made, we believe, some impact here in the city of Detroit in essence. Now, could we do more? Yes, we can. And would we like to do more? Yes, we can. And that's why we're calling all the brothers and sisters who went to the Minuteman March, as well as those who went to the Million Family March, and then those who just went to the Just Else March.
Right.
Come and be with us again on this Friday at their Keebalan Village, right off of Van Dyke on Harper, 7701. Brother Marvis Cofield has opened the doors for us to have that facility and utilize it for this celebration. And we have a lot of folks who we hope will come out. We ask all the brothers from back in the day to come on out. The struggle for liberation is not over. We still got a lot of more work to do. And we ask the sisters, we want to let it be shown and known that in the early years we were just primarily emphasizing brothers. But now we've kind of opened our eyes and woke up, sisters, and we'll tell you that, and we're not ashamed to say it. We need the sisters to be with us as they've been down through the years. So we want the sisters to come to be recognized, and let's do this thing together. brothers and the sisters, and we can make a difference in our community.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this quickly. We only have a couple minutes left in this interview. Number one, is there a contact phone number if people have questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you. They can reach us at 313-477-1146. Again, that's 313-477-1146. They can call and reach us, and we'll share information.
Okay.
And we'll be more than happy to let them know exactly what we're doing, when, and where. But they can start off by joining us this Friday, the 16th, right here again at Akiva Line Village in Detroit, Michigan. October 16th is our day. We've done a year out here. We've never missed a celebration in 20 years.
Right.
We've always lifted up those who have come and gone and pay homage to them, and then we talk about where do we go from there. It's like our new year.
Exactly.
Our new year, our new beginning every year.
Hey, Paul, let me say this quickly because we run out of time. Number one,
yes.
How your food co-op plan, is it still $25 for a bushel of fruits and vegetables and meats, things like this? Is it still $25?
Well, right now it's $35 for the holiday.
Okay.
For the holiday it's $35. We go back down after the holiday.
That's fine.
We expand the baskets, and we will have fresh meats, fresh fruits and vegetables, never canned goods or dry goods.
Okay.
All this quality food. Work with black farmers. We do have the meat in it as well. Halal meat is what we utilize.
Right.
And that will be a lot of good food that people can use for.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. When is the next time that people can purchase the food?
Well, our next basket is November 21st. I think that's the third Saturday of November, and we'll be taking orders even as we speak. We do ask you to pay in advance to $35. You can bring your $35, for example, to the meeting.
On Friday. On Friday. Yeah, okay.
And we'll give you a receipt, and you can have your basket already in place. If you want to give baskets away, for example, at your church group or whatever, group, block club, group, or family gathering, and you need baskets that you can give away to needy families, that's something you can do. We'll be happy to serve you. If you want to buy some baskets that we can give away to needy families, we certainly would love to have that as well.
Okay.
This is cooperative economics and collective work. So if you want to come and work with us on the food cooperative, we package the food, we buy the food in bulk quantities, and then we break it down into baskets. And it takes a little work, but it's more fun than work because we do it together in harmony and unity. And it's important to show that we can work together, and we do that every month with our food co-op.
Exactly.
So if there's anyone listening to us and they want to volunteer and they want to buy a basket or volunteer to help put the basket together, we need people to help deliver the basket to those who do purchase. So there's work that you can do if you want to be a part of our program as we, again, help to lead the people by helping to feed the people.
Exactly. Okay, people call 313-477-1146 if you have questions about Friday or about the food co-op program, 313-477-1146. All right, man, we're out of time here. Let me just say this. If you want me to speak some about solutions, I got a ton of information. I have a bunch of them on our website, and I have basically about 40 things that we can do. So if you want me to talk about that, so just let me know.
I would be honored to let you have a word, and so that wouldn't be an issue. And I thank you for the offer. Again, thank you for, an opportunity to be on your show and to spread the information. You do a fantastic job in that regard, and so we're honored to be a part of it. And so we do call brothers and sisters to join us. And again, call me 313-477-1146. And, Malcolm said it best when he talked about saving the babies. If it ain't about the babies, then what is this really all about? So we need to make this world a better place for the children and for the children unborn. And that's why I was so moved by the number of young people that was at the Justice Else rally, because the children represent our future. And that was great to see these young adults there in numbers.
Okay, man, we got to get out of here. All right, I'll talk to you later, man, and I'll see you Friday, okay? All right, peace. Hotel. Peace. All right, that was Paul Taylor of the Million Man Alumni Association in Detroit. We'll be back in a few minutes. When we come back, we're going to talk about this case out of Florida where you have an African-American woman who was assaulted by two police officers while trying to record with her cell phone police officers arresting her husband. We'll deal with this on the other side of the break. And then also we'll deal with evidence that proves that African people were in the Americas before Christopher Columbus. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Who I am. The lessons that we had was like 20 years in the past. The peace with it in you had. They thinking that was our best and our success was just a fad. We hit about all we had. Despite it, we don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the doubters think again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend. So we live stronger, healthier, live longer. Win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development. Powerful, we influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody shake your head. Shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead. Come out the tomb, child. We're alive now. We're alive now. We're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human.
Hello, African History Network family. This is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network and host of the Michael Imhotep Show and the African History Network Show. I want to let you know about a fantastic offer we have available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can get our Empowerment Bundle Pack, which is on sale right now for only $50, regularly $110. You get 6 of my DVD presentations for one low price. You'll get one of my latest presentations, Empire Strikes Black, the propaganda of the media, and Malcolm X 50 years later, why is he still relevant? This was recorded Easter Sunday, April 5th, 2015 in Detroit. Also, you'll get my presentation dealing with the history of Black Wall Street from destruction to the resurrection of economic empowerment for African Americans. This was recorded November 3rd, 2014 in Seattle, Washington. You'll get my presentation, The Distortion of the Legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., The Revolutionary Will Not Be Televised. The Revolutionary Will Not Be Televised. This was recorded on Dr. King Day, January 19th, 2015 in Detroit. Also, you get Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, What They Didn't Teach You in School, Part 1 of the Media's Deliberate Destruction of the African American Family, and also one of my presentations dealing with the prison industrial complex, Slavery's Back in Effect, the hidden relationship between the prison industrial complex, the new voter ID laws, and black population control. So you get 6 of my DVD presentations for only $50, regularly $110. It's item number 767 at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Also, you can get the Michael Imhotep Bundle Pack, where you get 18 of my presentations for one low price as well. It's available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com.
All we had, despite it, we don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the doubters think again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend. So we live stronger, healthier, live longer. Win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development. Powerful, we influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody shake your head. Shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead. Come out the tomb, child.
Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. All right, that was Living by Arrested Development. Living by Arrested Development. Visit their website, arresteddevelopmentmusic.com, arresteddevelopmentmusic.com. All right, there's a disturbing story out of Florida. TheRoot.com had an article about this. We posted it yesterday or earlier today. I can't remember which one it was. Florida woman beaten, arrested for filming police. Kelly Wilson says that she was filming 2 Jacksonville police officers as they arrested her husband when they punched her and took her phone. Let's go to the clip.
Woman and arrest her just moments after they arrested her husband. What crosses the line when it comes to recording law enforcement doing their job? Just as important, what crosses the line for police in reacting to someone officers don't want nearby. News for Jax investigates.
Those questions are part of the big issues facing a woman who is fighting back. She believes she was wrongly arrested and claims she was ultimately assaulted by Jacksonville police officers.
In her mind, all she did was record an arrest with her phone. Police report the woman interfered with their investigation and was only arrested after being warned more than once.
I was beaten and then falsely arrested. My phone was stolen. My car was taken. It was a traumatic experience. It was definitely an experience you would never think that you would be going through.
Kelly Wilson thinks back to July 15th outside a Westside convenience store. She had found out her husband had been stopped by police. She got a ride to the scene and tried to pick up their vehicle. It turned into her own arrest and a trip to the hospital.
You see it, but you don't think that's something that I'm going to have to deal with. And it started from a phone call.
Wilson says she turned on her video recorder on her phone as she talked with police. Her version, that she identified herself to police, asked if she could recover the vehicle, and acted politely until this confrontation caught on surveillance video at the convenience store. She says the officer demanded her phone, and she asked why.
He asked for it. He demanded it again. And I gave him the thing like, why do you want my phone? Like, what do you need my phone for? And he told me that he would punch me in my face. I eventually got punched and beaten, and the sergeant that was on the scene joined in the beating.
She was lucky for that video, because without that, I don't think a judge, a jury, anyone else would believe her against 3 police officers.
Wilson has 2 local lawyers representing her. They say the video proves her version of events and dismisses the accusation listed in the police report that Wilson was interfering with an investigation.
But when you look at it on the video and compare it with the report, you can tell that it's not true. And it's a false report and a false arrest. And that's probably the biggest crime that occurred in this case. Not anything Ms. Wilson did, but what they did to her.
It's just so difficult because we don't have any audio. We can't hear the police commands. We can't hear if she's complying or refusing.
News for Jax crime and safety analyst Gil Smith doesn't agree with Wilson's lawyers. Without audio, he says it's not an open and shut case to him.
They said that she was yelling back at the person who was in the police car. That would be interference in an investigation.
Stand by.
I asked her to stand back, and she does, but then she comes up again. The problem is we can't tell what the police are saying or what she is saying, so it's difficult to tell how she's interfering in the investigation.
Wilson tells us she believes recording the officers with her phone's video camera is what got her into trouble with the officers. We asked Smith if officers can be justified in demanding someone's phone. He says yes, depending on the circumstances.
Well, there's a possibility. If she's on the phone calling people, telling them to come up to the scene, then that could be a danger to police officers, so you definitely want to stop that.
Without knowing what's being said in this instance, Smith says the officers' commands may have been lawful orders and officers may have been justified in arresting Wilson. I contacted JSO asking for a specific comment on this case. They told me they can't respond with the case pending. I asked the state attorney's office for comment. They said basically the same thing. Both agencies want to point out that all 3 officers testify in the arrest report that Wilson did not cooperate or comply with police. That's why she was arrested, they say, and that it had nothing to do with her cell phone. JSO says there is no expectation of privacy while in public, and it is not illegal to record in public. An officer being recorded while in performance of their duty is no exception to that rule. The simple act of recording, they told me today, would not be the reason for arrest. Now, Wilson asked the court to throw out the case. Tuesday, a judge denied that motion, and the state's attorney's office plans to proceed with the case against her.
So Kent, Wilson says that she was recording the whole incident on her cell phone. Why didn't she show you that video, which would have had the audio on it?
Yeah, and this is a point that her attorneys make. Hey, if we had the cell phone video from her phone, we would have heard it. Well, Wilson is saying that the officers took her phone, and when she was released from jail, she didn't get it back. She says she's asked repeatedly for JSO to return the phone, but the sheriff's office did not log it into evidence and says that they don't have it. Wilson thinks that the officer's covering things up, but she has no proof that they took it.
All right, so that was out of Florida. You're going to hear more about that. This is why you need economic boycotts of the downtown business district there until this type of nonsense stops. And you let them know we're not going to wait. You shouldn't wait till Black Friday. They should start now and push their demands and say we're going to continue a sustained economic boycott of the downtown business district until this type of mistreatment stops. And if that doesn't work, then you study the feasibility of withholding your city income taxes. Okay, check out that article from theroot.com. We're going to post this again on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. This is from theroot.com. Experts say police acted. No, not that one. What's the other one? Let me see. Hold on. What's the name of this article? Florida woman beaten, arrested for filming police. Okay, Florida woman beaten, arrested for filming police. So I'm posting that again right now on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. Tomorrow night we'll talk a little bit about the Democratic candidate debate, a presidential Democratic candidate debate that's going on right now. I wanted to share this other story with you here quickly. The members of the Black Lives Matter movement met with Hillary Clinton on Saturday. Okay, YourBlackWorld.net has an article about this entitled "While Many Were Focused on Million Man March Anniversary, Hillary Clinton was meeting with Black Lives Matter." Now, on Friday, there were many people in the African American community who were gearing up for Minister Louis Farrakhan's Million Man March anniversary. As it turns out, however, that wasn't the only newsworthy event taking place that impacted the lives of black people or African Americans. Okay. All right. Hillary Clinton met with Black Lives Matter activists. She met with them on Friday, I should say. Hillary Clinton met with Black Lives Matter activists on Friday for an hour-long conversation on institutional racism. According to activists, the conversation was candid and included topics such as demilitarization of police, the school-to-prison pipeline, and violence committed against members of the LGBT community. Quote, "We had a tough conversation about decentering the police as the key mechanism to ensuring safety in communities. And we also had a spirited conversation about alternatives to policing," end quote, said DeRay McKesson, one of the leaders of Campaign Zero. He told this to Politico.com. Activist Janetta Elzie attended the meeting and told the Business Insider that the conversation was productive, but Clinton was less than direct. She was less than direct. Quote, Hillary is a good listener, but she still has lots of room to grow when it comes to listening to black people actually talk about the issues that are affecting them versus how she perceives the issues to affect us, end quote, Elzie said. And this is extremely important because we have to tell our own narrative. And we have to, it's going to take two things. There may be some elements and some things that politicians know about certain issues that we don't know, but there are also going to be other nuances, et cetera, that we know that they don't. Okay, so this is why you have to have an agenda that's being pushed. And when they ask you, if they ask you, what is it that you want, you have to be able to articulate what it is that you want and delineate it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is why. And if you have supporting documentation to support each one of your points, that's even better. Because proper documentation ends all conversation, unless you're arguing with a fool. You have to, it's not just we feel this would make a difference, blah, blah, blah. You have to have evidence to prove it. When you have evidence to prove it, you can shut a lot of this nonsense down. Okay? All right, we'll continue this on the other side of the break. You listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network with Knowledge is Power. We'll be back.
I'm performing for a crowd that be dating me as they jam and rate me for who I was and not rate me for who I am. The last thing that we had was like 20 years in the past. The peace with it in you had, they thinking that was our best and our success was just a fad. 3 years, about all we had. Despite it, we don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the dollars sink again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend. So we live stronger, healthier, live longer, win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is the best development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody shake your head, shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tomb, child. We're alive now, we're alive now, we're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
The more gangsters talk about dying and crack cocaine in the violence, the station's saturated with it, the more our music be thriving. People compare and contrast. Whatever our beat lacks is made up by the mere fact we're the only other option. Seems like I'm an alien, 40 plus years and up. 45 is something real that the present say they don't want. So the present don't really get my presence and all my points. How I think, work, play it, and live it with aching joints. They're acting like I'm dumb, including my only son, he's 16, acting like that he's doing a 61. It's like
HOTEP, African History Network listeners. October 15th, tax extension deadline time is almost here. If you still haven't filed your taxes for 2014, let G&G Associates help you out. G&G Associates Tax Preparation Services is a black-owned business focused on easing our clients' minds on all their tax preparation needs. We guarantee to beat any other tax professional's price. All new clients who go to our Facebook page and like us will receive a 15% new client discount. You can find us on Facebook by going to #GNGTax. That's #GNGTAX. Or you can visit our website at gngassociates.net and click on the Taxes tab. Or call us toll-free at 877-220-8333. Again, that website is gngassociates.net.
Generation is raised up with pure laziness. Am I further dating us? I know it. They want to put in their headphones, escaping the world. They want to get up on their cell phone and relate with little girls. I can dig it to about 5 feet, 11 inches, but the last inch is where my digging stops. I don't do ditches. I won't put you to death. I brought you life through my sperm and my music. Yeah, I brought it twice, so we doing it live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey. Everybody hear me out. We are in the here and the now. Live it. So we doing it live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody shake your head, shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tomb, child. We're alive now, we're alive now, we're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living. Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up.
Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network. That was the chat room. Okay. Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. If you have questions, we have the information for tonight's show posted on our Facebook fan page. You can post questions there or call in 888-669-2281, 888-669-2281 if you have a question or comment. when I was on Blog Talk, we used the chat room. I can't keep up with the messages scroll in the chat room. I can't keep up with all those. If you post it on our Facebook fan page on the thread for the information for tonight's show, I can catch them there. Okay. All right. Or you can call in 914-338-1375, 914-338-1375. Okay. All right. Somebody on Facebook, hey, Mikey, trying to listen to the show. Now, to listen to the show, once again, download the TuneIn Radio app to your Android phone, your iPhone, your BlackBerry, your tablet. Search for Empowerment Radio Network, or go to TuneIn.com, and search for Empowerment Radio Network on TuneIn.com. Okay, let's go back. We were talking about this article right before the break. This article was dealing with the Black Lives Matter. Okay, members of the Black Lives Matter movement met with Hillary Clinton this past Friday, the day before the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March celebration, day before the Justice or Else March. Okay, now, as I was saying right before the break, it's important for African Americans to be able to articulate our own issues and to lay out our agenda of what it is that we want, what it is that we are asking for. Because let me give you an example. When you meet with Hillary Clinton or you meet with Bernie Sanders or what have you, and they ask you, okay, what is it that you want? You say, we want black power. Well, that's nebulous. That's ambiguous. What does that mean? Okay, so you have to be able to lay out what it is that you want. We want police to stop killing us. That's very broad. You have to be able to present policies dealing with policing. Now, this is what Campaign Zero has done. And other groups in the Black Lives Matter movement, they have done this also, okay? And Campaign Zero has been very good at talking about their 10-point program and their about 33 different policies that they have attached to that 10-point program, okay? Now, Hillary Clinton plans on releasing criminal justice reforms in the coming weeks, said an aide close to her presidential campaign. DeRay McKesson said this was a better meeting than the impromptu meeting between Clinton and activists in New Hampshire. Quote, sometimes her language does not match her intent. In this setting, we were with her for 90 minutes, so if she said something and we wanted more clarity, we had the time to do that. But I think in general, she can just be clearer and more plainly talk about issues related to African American people or black people and black people than she has done for the duration of the campaign. Okay. All right. So check out that article. We posted it earlier today. It says, while many were focused on Million Man March anniversary, Hillary Clinton was meeting with Black Lives Matter. Okay. Now you had I saw one dumbass. He posted on the hopefully I can say dumb on the radio. He said, "Oh, they had this meeting to be a distraction from the Million Man March anniversary." What kind of idiotic conspiracy theory nonsense is this? First of all, it took place on a Friday. Secondly, even if it did, it's not going to detract from the Million Man March anniversary. This is action that needs to come out of the Million Man March anniversary. Some of us just come up with the dumbest ass nonsense. Okay? All right, but check out this article. Now, Your Black World, I just got this article in from what is this, culturecritic.com. Okay, let's go to this article here. And we just posted this on our fan page. Texas politician tasered, arrested by same officer who arrested Sandra Bland, who died in custody. Now, you're hearing this for the first time here on the Michael Imhotep show. Now, we know about the case of the Texas politician who was tasered. Okay, and DailyMail.com has a big article today. Also, Black City Councilman tasered by police after allegedly resisting officers in same Texas town where Sandra Bland arrested. Okay, now let me check this because I know it was in the same town as in Prairie View. Let me try to check this. Let me try to check this here for accuracy because this just came in, and I wanted to let me see something. The rest of us, let's see here. Okay, now the Daily Mail reports that. Let me see. I skipped something. I'm sorry. Okay, the Daily Mail reports that Miller was tasered during the process of being arrested for going outside his own home to talk with police who were questioning several men around 8:30 p.m. Now, Miller was he's the city council person. After being asked by an officer to put his hands behind his back, City Councilman Miller is struck by the taser while he appears to be on his knees, according to police body camera video and another taken by a witness. This morning on News One Now with Roland Martin, Roland interviewed one of the men who was there with the city councilman, one of his friends. Okay. And I'm waiting for them to post the podcast or post that interview. It was today, October 13th. Okay, you got to go back and watch that. Go to news1.com, and click on News One Now at the top of the page. Hopefully tomorrow they'll upload that, and also RolandMartinReports.com, RolandMartinReports.com. They post the podcast. They have the podcast from yesterday. I'm waiting for them to upload the podcast from today's show. Now, while Miller says his only crime was to ask the officers why they were questioning the men who were his fraternity brothers, a female officer is heard on the video telling him, quote, he's going to have to tase you, end quote. Now, this was the African-American female officer, and what she did that we see on the video, I mean, she was just basically, I hate to use this analogy, but she was just basically the mammy there, trying to control the black male slave for the slave master, because it was a white officer who tased it. This is basically what this was. Okay. Now, shortly after this, a male officer is heard asking Miller again to put his hands behind his back just before the councilman screams in pain as he receives the electric shock. Now, if you watch the video, he's down on his knees. He's not threatening. He's not threatening anybody, but he said he didn't put his hands behind his back. Now, this is a city councilman, and he knew at least one of the officers there. This is outside of his house, outside of his apartment. Okay. And really, I think you're going to find in this case that this was racial profiling. Now, the officers say there's a high crime area, high drug area. Just because you see three African American men standing together doesn't mean that they're selling drugs. Doesn't mean that they're doing anything wrong. Okay, they actually went out to practice some of their steps because they were going to. I think they're going to be performing in a step show for the fraternity or something like that. Okay. And they were his guests. They were the councilman's guests, and the councilman actually lives there. Just because you see 3 or 4 African-American men together doesn't mean that they're doing something wrong. All right, now, quote, after repeated commands to step back, Mr. Miller was told that he was being placed under arrest for interfering with the investigation, end quote, a statement released by the Prairie View Police Department said on Friday. Once officers attempted to arrest Miller, he physically resisted. Mr. Miller continued to resist even after repeated commands to stop. The councilman claims that he stepped out of his home to ask the officers why they were questioning his friends. Okay, let me see something here. Why they were questioning his friends. Okay, the councilman claims that he stepped. Let me see. Hold on. What else? My place here. While Miller says his only crime was to ask the officers why they were questioning the men who were his fraternity brothers, a female officer is heard telling him he's going to have to tase you. Okay. Okay. The councilman claims that he stepped out of his home to ask the officers questioning his friends who were only outside the home changing their shoes to practice a step routine. Okay, we'll continue this on the other side of the break and listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Me for who I was and not rate me for who I am. The lessons that we had was like 20 years in the past. The peace with it in U.S. They thinking that was our best and our success was just a fad. We hit about all we had. Despite it, we don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the doubters think again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend. So we live stronger, healthier, live longer, win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody, shake your head, shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tombs, child. We're alive now. We're alive now. We're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
The more gangsters talk about dying and crack cocaine and the violence, the station saturated with it, the more our music be thriving. People compare and contrast. Whatever our beat lacks is made up by the mere fact we're the only other option. Seems like I'm an alien, 40 plus years and up. 45 is something real that the present say they don't want. So the present don't really get my presence and all my points. How I think, work, play it, and live it with aching joints. They're acting like I'm dumb, including my only son, he's 16, acting like that he's going on 61. It's like as if height equals might and wisdom. He smirks like he knows what I'ma say before I'm done. He just wants to have fun, wanna eat, wanna lay, wanna shop, wanna look a certain way, wanna chill. You wanna stop that craziness. You in this generation is raised up with pure laziness. Am I further dating us? I know it. They wanna put in their headphones, escape from the world. They wanna get up on their cell phone and relate with little girls. I can dig it to about 5 feet, 11 inches, but the last inches where my digging stops, I don't do ditches. I won't put you to death. I brought you life through my sperm and my music. Yeah, I brought it twice, so we doing it live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody, shake your head, shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tombs, child. We're alive now. We're alive now. We're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living. Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. All right, let's go back to this article. This article just came out here. This is from culturecritic.com. We just posted this on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. Texas politician tasered, arrested by same officer who arrested Sandra Bland, who died in custody. I'm suggesting they really need to change the title to arrested by one of the same officers who arrested Sandra Bland, who died in custody, because there was more than one officer who was present there. There was an African-American female officer who you heard talking to Sandra Bland, and apparently, according to this article, and I think also corroborated by the article from the Daily Mail, apparently she's the same African-American female officer who was there at the scene telling the city councilman Miller, that Jonathan Miller, who's 26 years old, that he's going to tase you, okay? Just total nonsense here, okay? Let's total nonsense here, okay? All right. Okay, let's go back to the article here, and then we're going to get into our main topic. We're going to run a little bit over. We'll continue this on the Blog Talk on our Blog Talk Radio channel. All right, now, City Councilman Jonathan Miller told the officer, "Please don't put your hands on me," and he said he was telling him, "I live here." He said shortly before he was tasered, he told them this before refusing to put his hands behind his back when told to do so by the female and male officer. An officer then says, "Oh yeah, he's going to jail for resisting." Okay, now, City Councilman Jonathan Miller was taken to Waller County Jail, okay, same jail where Sandra Bland was taken, where he was booked on a charge of interference and resisting arrest. He was out on bond Friday morning. It went from me asking questions to me basically being put face down on the ground. He told ABC 13, adding that he was treated for a back injury at the hospital. Now, claims that Miller wrestled with an officer while he was on the ground are false, said Brandon Wilson, who shot the cell phone video of the incident. The only wrestling was when the officer slammed him on the ground. Wilson continued. He got him on the ground so easily, he's only 130 pounds. Commenting on the reports that the female officer involved during Miller's arrest was the same one involved in the incident with Sandra Bland, Prairie View Chief of Police Larry Johnson said, quote, "We have 6 police officers," end quote. We have 6 police officers. Quote, "The probability of having the same officer involved in multiple types of incidences is probable," end quote, Johnson continued. Now, he's an African-American police chief. This is a small police department, and he's also he has 2 other jobs. He's like the chief information officer as well. He's the one that's going to have to upload this story to YouTube. We'll talk some more about this story tomorrow night. He goes on to say, "I haven't seen anything that gave me any cause for concern as far as this officer's conduct at this point." Now, although an investigation into the Miller incident is ongoing, the officers involved have not reportedly been placed on leave. Okay, so you're going to hear more about this. We'll talk about this some more tomorrow night here on the Michael Imhotep Show. Okay, last night we talked about some Christopher Columbus. Yesterday was Columbus Day. We also talked about Indigenous Peoples Day, and we talked about some explorers, some African explorers that we should talk about, that we should celebrate instead of Columbus, like Abubakar II, also known as Mansa Musa II, or Juan Garrido, the Nino brothers, Pedro Alonso, Nino Francisco, and Juan Nino, and Esteban. TheGrio.com has a great article, Black Explorers we should celebrate instead of Columbus. Black explorers we should celebrate instead of Columbus. Well, the History.com had a good article yesterday. It's actually yesterday. It's entitled October 12, 1492, Columbus Reaches the New World. We posted this on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. And it says, after sailing across the Atlantic Ocean, Italian explorer Christopher Columbus sights a Bahamian island, believing he has reached East Asia. Okay, his expedition went ashore the same day and claimed the land for Isabella of Ferdinand. For Isabella and Ferdinand of Spain, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain. okay, who sponsored his attempt to find a Western ocean route to China, India, and the fabled gold and spice islands of Asia. All right, and they were the ones who mainly who financially backed his expedition. He petitioned them for, he was trying to convince them for about 6, almost 7 years to back his expedition. Now, Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy in 1451. Little is known of his early life, but he worked as a seaman and then a maritime entrepreneur, okay? He became obsessed with the possibility of pioneering a western sea route to Cathay, or China, India, and the gold and spice islands of Asia. At the time, Europeans knew no direct sea route to southern Asia, and then the route via Egypt and the Red Sea was closed to Europeans by the Ottoman Empire, as were many land routes. Contrary to popular legend, educated Europeans of Columbus' day did believe that the world was round. Educated Europeans of Columbus' day did believe that the world was round, as argued by Saint Isidore in the 7th century. However, Columbus and most others underestimated the world's size, calculating that East Asia must lie approximately where North America sits on the globe. They did not yet know that the Pacific Ocean existed. Now, the Moors had already been all throughout Europe. They introduced spherical globes. They introduced almanacs and maps and all different types of things like this, as well as nautical instruments. It was the Moors that reintroduced the concept of longitude and latitude, which allowed the Europeans to start sailing again. Okay. Now, going back to about 6th century BC, you had Greeks that knew that the world was round. Okay, I wonder who they got that from. Okay, from my research going back to 6th century BC. Now, when the Moors go in 711 AD in the Iberian Peninsula, today known as Spain and Portugal, about 90 to 95% of Europeans are illiterate. Okay, now by this time, about 700 years later or so, 1492, probably maybe about maybe 20-15% of them were literate. Okay, were literate. About 80% was still illiterate. Majority of them, overwhelming majority of them, were still illiterate. You had kings and queens who were illiterate. King James Stuart I of England, who in the year 1600 commissioned his version of the Bible to be written. He was illiterate. All right. Now, with only the Atlantic Ocean, he thought, lying between Europe and the riches of the East Indies, Columbus met with King John II of Portugal and tried to persuade him to back his enterprise of the Indies, as he called his plan. He was rebuffed and went to Spain, where he was also rejected at least twice by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. However, check this out. However, after the Spanish conquest of the Moorish Kingdom, M-O-O-R-I-S, after the Spanish conquest of the Moorish Kingdom of Granada in January 1492, January 2nd, 1492 to be exact, the Spanish monarchs, flushed with victory, agreed to support his voyage. And if you listen to some of my presentations, like Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, as well as Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school, and Professor Kaba Kamene, the information he has on the Moors, Spain defeating the Moors and taking back control of Grenada set up Columbus being able to sail. In August 2nd, 1492, Spain expelled the Sephardic Jews, or the Sephardim. And the next day, August 3rd, Columbus set sail on his first of 4 voyages. Now, on August 3rd, 1492, Columbus set sail from Palos, Spain, with 3 small ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. Look, we're out of time here. We're going to continue for a few more minutes on our Blog Talk Radio channel. Go to blogtalkradio.com/The African History Network Show. blogtalkradio.com/The African History Network Show, or call in and listen by phone, 914-338-1375, 914-338-1375. Okay, you can continue to listen. There will be there a few more minutes. These shows are podcasted. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Click on radio shows at the top of the page. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Click on radio shows at the top of the page for the podcast. Remember, on the Michael Imhotep Show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it corrects wrong behavior. Okay? We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Forming for a crowd that be dating me as they jam and rate me for who I was and not rate me for who I am. The lessons that we had was like 20 years in the past. The peace with it in U.S. They thinking that was our best and our success was just a fad. We hit about all we had, despite it. We don't get mad and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the doubters think again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend. So we live stronger, healthier, live longer, win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence the music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody.
Hotep, African History Network listeners, April 15th has passed, but if you still haven't filed your taxes for 2014, let G&G Associates help you out. G&G Associates Tax Preparation Services is a black-owned business focused on easing our clients' minds on all their tax preparation needs. We guarantee to beat any other tax professional's price. All new clients who go to our Facebook page and like us will receive a 15% new client discount. You can find us on Facebook by going to hashtag G&G Tax. That's hashtag GNGTAX. Or you can visit our website at www.gngassociates.net and click on the Taxes tab, or call us toll-free at 877-220-8333. Again, that website is www.gngassociates.net.
Alki Naturals African Moringa. With over 90 different vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, it's often called nature's miracle tree. African moringa has been known to assist with such ailments as diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, migraines, and even assist with weight loss. For more details, scientific studies, videos, and testimonies, visit Alki Naturals' website at www.alkinaturals.com. That's www.alkenaturals.com. Or call 1-877-945-5580 to order your African Moringa today. Also, for all African History Network listeners, you can get a 25% discount by using coupon code AHN25OFF. Again, that website is www.alkenaturals.com. Remember, your greatest wealth is your health.
Oh, I'm Tahaka Amana L. Bay. You got problems with debt? Get in touch with me. You can call me by telephone, 904-303-9061. Or visit our website at www.newdebtelimination.com. That's newdebtelimination.com, or you can contact me by telephone, 904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you got a problem with a mortgage, if you got car problems, debt collectors, if you got a problem with student loans, child support, whatever it is, give me a call, 904-303-9061.
Are you overweight, constipated, got gas, acid reflux, gout, edema, arthritis, and swelling? Alki Naturals has the product for you from the African Aloe Ferox plant. African Aloe Ferox bitter crystals, drink, and tea will help to regulate, cleanse, and detoxify your body, making you much healthier and more vibrant by balancing out your entire digestive tract. Try African Aloe Ferox by Alki Naturals. You can visit our Facebook page or website page for more details, scientific studies, and testimonials at www.alkinaturals.com. That's www.alkenaturals.com. Also, for all African History Network listeners, you can get a 25% discount by using coupon code AHN25OFF. Again, that website is www.alkenaturals.com. Remember, your greatest wealth is your health.
Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show. We are in overtime here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. To listen to the show, go to blogtalkradio.com/The African History Network Show. blogtalkradio.com/The African History Network Show. Also, visit our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. At the top of the page, we have the information for tonight's show, and we posted the link to listen to the show in overtime on Blog Talk. So it's right there in the information. Okay. All right. So you can also call in and listen by phone, 914-338-1375, 914-338-1375. Now, remember, these shows are podcasted. You can go to AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and click on radio shows at the top of the page and click on the link for the Michael Imhotep Show. Right before the break, we were talking about this article from History.com, History.com, the official website of the History Channel. And we're dealing with October 12, 1492. Columbus reaches the New World, so-called New World. It was new to them, wasn't new to us because we were already here. All right, now, on August 3rd, 1492, Columbus set sail from Palos, Spain, with 3 small ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. On October 12th, the expedition reached land, probably Watling, Watling, probably Watling Island in the Bahamas. Later that month, Columbus sighted Cuba, which he thought was mainland China. And in December, the expedition landed on Hispaniola, which Columbus thought might be Japan. Today, and Hispaniola is Haiti. Well, they were, it's Haiti. Hispaniola actually means Little Spain, okay? Little Spain. All right, now, so he thought this was Japan, Hispaniola. He thought it was Japan. He established a small colony there in Hispaniola with 39 of his men. The explorer returned to Spain with gold, spices, and Indian captives in March of 1493 and was received with the highest honors by the Spanish court. He was the first European to explore the Americas since the Vikings set up colonies in Greenland and Newfoundland. We pronounce it Newfoundland, but if you look at the way it's spelled, it actually spells Newfound Land, okay? Newfoundland in the 10th century because it was new to them. Newfoundland, okay? All right, now, during his lifetime, Columbus led a total of 4 expeditions to the New World, discovering various Caribbean islands, the Gulf of Mexico, and the South and Central American mainlands. But he never accomplished his original goal, a Western Ocean route to the great cities of Asia. Columbus died in Spain in 1506 without realizing the great scope of what he did achieve. Okay, he had discovered quote-unquote discovered for Europe the New World, whose riches over the next century would help make Spain the wealthiest and most powerful nation on earth. Okay, now let's put this into historical perspective from an African-centered perspective. Yeah, the riches that he stole from indigenous African people and Native Americans. Now, 70% of the people who Columbus encountered on his 4 voyages were African people. Okay, where did he get the riches from? All right, and you talk about, now this article does not talk about the genocide that he inflicted upon the African people. Okay, when you look at the Arawaks Indians they talk about in Hispaniola, if I remember correctly. When he got there, the population was about 500,000. In 2 years, it had been cut in half to 250,000. And sometime maybe about 10, 15 years, about 10 years later or something like that, it was down to only about 50,000. Okay, he's responsible for the genocide of millions of people, millions of indigenous people. Okay, and then see, I talk about how Columbus lays the foundation for racism, slavery, capitalism, the exploitation of indigenous people, and how his 4 voyages opened up the so-called New World to exploitation by other European nations. Okay, so that's why it's really important for us to deal with Columbus. Now, AtlantaBlackStar.com has a really good article, 10 pieces of evidence that prove black people sailed to the Americas long before Columbus. 10 pieces of evidence that prove black people sailed to the Americas long before Columbus. Okay, this is from January 23rd, 2015. Now, first of all, number one, Columbus is himself, what he wrote, because Columbus kept a diary. Okay, according to renowned American historian and linguist Leo Weiner of Harvard University, one of the strongest pieces of evidence to support the fact that black people sailed to America before Christopher Columbus was a journal entry from Columbus himself in Weiner's book, quote, Africa and the Discovery of America. Africa and the Discovery of America. He explains, Weiner explains, that Columbus noted in his journal that the Native Americans confirmed, quote, black-skinned people had come from the southeast in boats trading in gold-tipped spears, end quote. Okay. Now, I encourage people to read the book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence by Dr. David Imhotep. The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence by Dr. David Imhotep. Okay. He deals with 713 footnotes in this book, thoroughly documenting an African presence in North, Central, and South America. South America going back at least 56,000 years ago, and in this land that we call the United States, at least 51,700 years ago. Okay. Now, number two, American narcotics discovered in Egyptian mummies. American narcotics discovered in Egyptian mummies. Now, the discovery of American narcotics in Egyptian mummies has left some historians amazed. Recently, archaeologists discovered the presence of narcotics only known to be derived from American plants in ancient Egyptian mummies. Okay, only known to be derived from American plants in ancient Egyptian mummies. These substances included South American cocaine from erythroxylon and nicotine from Nicotiana tabacum. German toxicologist Sveltla Balabanova reported the findings, which suggest that such compounds made their way to Africa through transatlantic trade that would predate Columbus' arrival by thousands of years. Okay, because African people, when you read the First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence, we were continuously traveling back and forth to Africa, to this land, to South America, to the Caribbean, etc. And there was trade going on. Okay. All right. Now, okay. So number three, Egyptian artifacts in North America. Egyptian artifacts in North America. For years, Eurocentric archaeologists have largely turned the other cheek when it came to the discovery of artifacts from ancient Egypt being discovered in the Americas. According to Dr. David Imhotep, the author of the book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence, quote, Egyptian artifacts found across North America from the Algonquin writings on the East Coast to the artifacts and Egyptian place names in the Grand Canyon, end quote. Okay, let me repeat that. Egyptian artifacts found across North America from the Algonquin. Now, the Algonquin are a tribe of black Indians, okay? As a group, a nation of black Indians. From the Algonquin writings on the East Coast to the artifacts and Egyptian place names in the Grand Canyon. Okay, end quote. Now, these are all signs of an early arrival in the Americas by Africans. This is also paired with a much earlier account of black people with incredible skills at sea. Back in 445 BC, the Greek historian Herodotus wrote of King Ramses III leading a team of Africans at sea with astounding seafaring and navigational skills. Together, both accounts would point to Africans sailing over to the New World before Columbus. And we know Africans were on the Greek island of Crete going back about 130,000 years ago. And Crete has been the island for 5 million years, okay? Now, there's an article in, the clip, the interview that I played of Dr. David Imhotep from Channel 5 WKRP in Cincinnati. He talks about this article also. Now, this article is from the New York Times. Now, this is not a blog. This is not from a conspiracy theory website, okay? This is from the New York Times, February 15th, 2010. The name of the article is On Crete, C-R-E-T, On Crete. New evidence of very ancient mariners. New evidence of very ancient mariners. And they talk about how in this article they did, they say stone tools found there. No, let me back up. It says early humans, possibly even pre-human ancestors, appear to have been going to sea much longer than anyone had ever suspected. Much longer than anyone had ever suspected. That is the startling implication of discoveries made the last 2 summers on the Greek island of Crete. Stone tools found there, archaeologists say, are at least 130,000 years old, which is considered strong evidence for the earliest known seafaring in the Mediterranean and calls for rethinking the maritime capabilities of pre-human cultures. Now, they want to say these were pre-human, but no. If you study Runoko Rashidi, Dr. Charles Finch, and other scholars, they have talked about, and Dr. David Imhotep deals with this also in his book, that Homo sapiens sapiens are at least 300,000 years old and not 75 to 100,000 years old or 200,000 years old as we have been led to believe. Homo sapiens sapiens are at least 300,000 years old, okay? And this is some evidence of this here, and this is evidence of an African presence on the Greek island of Crete, because this is the only people who were in existence at this time, African people. And also, here's another thing. You have not found any, and this is something Dr. David Imhotep pointed out to me. He said you're not going to find any remains of Native Americans except Homo sapiens sapiens, and you have not found any. Why is that? Because there are none. Because who we call Native Americans do not predate Homo sapiens sapiens, because they are the offspring of the intermixing of African people and Asians who came to this land going back to about 3000 BC. And African people were already here going back 51,700 years. But they're intermixing. Intermix in South America and Central America and intermix here, right? You're not going to find remains, skeletons, skulls of Native Americans other than Homo sapiens sapiens, because they didn't exist. They didn't exist in previous species of man. Homo erectus, Homo habilis, Homo sapiens, the older species. They didn't exist. Okay. So that's something very important to note. All right, now, so number 3 was Egyptian artifacts in North America. Number 4, ancient pyramids. Constructing pyramids was a highly specialized and complicated task that took the ancient Egyptians a lot of time to master. And the pyramid building technology evolved over thousands of years. And if you look at the step pyramid of Pharaoh Zoser in the 3rd dynasty, and Imhotep was the architect of that. Okay, and he lived sometime between 2700 BC and 3000 BC, depending upon which timeline you use. It may be 100 to 200 years off. I'll go with the oldest dates I can find because we know at least 130,000 years of our history has been stolen. So I'll go with the oldest dates I can find, which is about 3000 BC. He was the architect. That was a step pyramid called a mastaba, or a flat bench pyramid, B-E-N-C-H. That pyramid building technology is totally different than the great pyramids at Giza of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, things like this. The pyramid building technology evolved over thousands of years. But you also have to understand that more pyramids in Ta-Nehisi or Nubia, what the Greeks call Nubia or today's Sudan, there are more pyramids there than are in Egypt, okay, or were in ancient Kemet. All right, and also in Nubia or in the Sudan today, about 97% of our history is still buried underground. Okay? About 97% of our history is still buried underground, and already there are more pyramids there. Okay? They just discovered about 2,000 more smaller pyramids in the Sudan, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. Okay? All right, now, and then also we have to talk about in May of 2000, they discovered 17 pyramids buried underground in Egypt. You can look that up. It was the discovery, I think it was the discovery, let me see, what was this? Okay, here we go. Let's pull up this article here. News.discovery.com, okay? Egyptian pyramids found with NASA satellite, May 26, 2011. Egyptian pyramids found with NASA satellite. Now, this is not conspiracy theory. This is verifiable, documented facts. And if you actually read this article, now, news.discovery.com is the official website of the Discovery Channel. This is not a conspiracy theory website. Okay, I want people to understand this. If you actually read the article, and there's a video in here that you can watch also, okay, in this article. And actually, I saw a documentary of it on the Discovery Channel about this as well. It's either the Discovery or the History Channel. I saw a documentary in the last couple of months or so, okay? And pull up this article. In this article, over to the left, it says related links, 35 ancient pyramids discovered in Sudan. That's just what I was talking about. 35 ancient pyramids discovered in Sudan. But in this particular article, talking about this 17 pyramids found buried underneath Egypt in 2011, they used a NASA satellite, okay, that is somewhere around 430, 460 miles above the Earth, okay, and it uses infrared technology to see underground, and they discovered these pyramids. They discovered tombs and things like this underground. This was in May of 2011. They found 1,000 tombs and 3,000 ancient settlements. Okay, infrared images which were taken by satellites orbiting 435 miles above the Earth revealed the below ground structures. Okay, so check out that article and read the other article, 35 ancient pyramids discovered in Sudan. Now this is real archaeological evidence, and this is history. You probably didn't hear anything about this from your civil rights superstars or anything like this. I don't know if your pastor told you about this or what have you. Okay, but this happened in 2011. Okay, now. Okay, so number 4, ancient pyramids. Constructing pyramids was highly specialized and complicated task that took the ancient Egyptians a lot of time to master. In ancient Egypt, there are signs of progression from the original step pyramid of Zoser to the more sophisticated pyramids that now stand at Giza, and I just talked about that. According to historians, it would be impossible for any group of people to have built those same complex pyramids without going through the same progression. Professor Everett Borders noted the presence of completed pyramids in La Venta in Mexico, but the unusual absence of any earlier forms of the pyramids. According to Borders, it's a sign that Africans, having already mastered the construction of pyramids in Egypt or ancient Kemet, sailed over to the New World and constructed these dual-purpose tombs and temples in the Americas. Okay? Now, number 5, ancient African skeletons discovered in the New World. There have been many instances of archaeologists discovering skulls and skeletons that they believed clearly belonged to people of African descent. Polish professor Andrzej Wawrzyński revealed the discovery of African skulls at Olmec sites in Latico, Serra de las Mesas, and Monte Alban, okay, Alban. Even more ancient African skeletons that would clearly predate Columbus' arrival in the Americas were discovered throughout Central America and South America, with some even being unearthed in what is now California. And we know about Queen Khalifa in California and how California was founded. Some of the families that founded California were African families. Okay. Now, number 6, a clear link in religion. A clear link in religion. The similarities in Native American and African religions also suggest that Africans had to have had early contact with the Native Americans by sailing to the New World. Let me repeat that. The similarities in Native American and African religions also suggest that Africans had to have had early contact with the Native Americans by sailing to the New World. Before Columbus stumbled upon the Native Americans' land, there were prominent figures of deities with dark skin and coarse hair throughout their religion. Today, many surviving portraits reveal these deities who were clearly crafted in the likeness of Africans. Historians also point to wall paintings in caves in South America that depict the ancient Egyptian, quote, opening of the mouth, end quote, and cross libation rituals. All right, number 7, the accounts of other European explorers. The accounts of other European explorers. Christopher Columbus wasn't the only European explorer who made note of an African presence in the Americas upon his arrival. Historians reveal that at least a dozen other explorers, including Vasco Núñez de Balboa, also made record of seeing Negroes when they reached the New World. The accounts match up with the reports from the natives of Mexico. Nicholas Leon, an eminent Mexican authority, recorded the oral traditions of his people and ultimately kept track of a key piece of evidence that black people made it to the New World far before their European counterparts. His reports revealed accounts from natives saying, quote, the oldest inhabitants of Mexico were blacks. The existence of blacks and giants is commonly believed by nearly all the races of our Sail, S-A-I-L, and in their various language, they had words to designate them, end quote, okay? All right, once again, his reports revealed accounts from natives saying, quote, the oldest inhabitants of Mexico were blacks. The existence of blacks and giants is commonly believed by nearly all the races of our Sail, and in their various language, they had words to designate them, end quote. Number 8, Africans were master shipbuilders, and we know this. Africans were master shipbuilders. Some people insist that Africans couldn't have made it to the New World first simply because they didn't have the skill and resources to sail across the Atlantic. As it turns out, that's completely false. And we just talked about the article dealing with on the Greek island of Crete. Okay, evidence of African people 130,000 years ago, and Crete has been the island for about 5 million years. So they had to have sailed there. They didn't teleport themselves there, probably didn't fly there. They sailed there. Right now, as it turns out, that is completely false when it comes to African people not being able to sail. Historians have discovered evidence that suggests Africans were masters at building ships and that it was actually a part of their tradition. Shipbuilding and sailing are over 20,000 years old in the Sahara, and cave wall paintings of ancient ships were displayed in National Geographic magazine years ago. With those shipbuilding skills and the navigation skills that were noted by other historians of the time, the myth that Africans would not have been able to sail to the New World becomes officially debunked. As Dr. Julian Whitewright, a maritime archaeologist at the University of Southampton, explained, the voyage from Africa on ancient ships was, quote, quite a plausible undertaking based on the capabilities of the vessel of the period and historical material stating it took place, end quote. Number 9, gigantic stone heads in central Mexico. Gigantic stone heads in central Mexico. The Olmec civilization was the first significant civilization in Mesoamerica and deemed mother culture of Mexico by some historians. This civilization dominated by Africans is best known for the colossal carved heads in central Mexico that serve as even more evidence that Africans sailed to the New World before Columbus. The heads also clearly crafted in the likeness of Africans. The same civilization that created these giant heads was also responsible for introducing written language, arts, sophisticated astronomy, and mathematics to Mesoamerican civilization. Ancient African historian Professor Van Sertima explained. That's Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. You can read they came before Columbus, but if you read the first Americans were Africans, documented evidence, it has more updated information in there, because this book, First Americans were Africans, documented evidence, that came out in 2000, I think it was 2011 or 2010. 2011. It came out in 2011, and another edition came out in 2012. So there have been a lot of new discoveries since 1976 when they came before Columbus came out. Also, if you read the book by Lerone Bennett Jr., Before the Mayflower, the first chapter is called The African Past. He gives you a foundation and deals with a lot of this information. I'm reading the 6th edition now. Okay, and that came out in the 1980s. If you get a later edition, it may have more updated information. But he deals with some of this information in the African presence in the Americas prior to Columbus in the first chapter of Before the Mayflower by Lerone Bennett Jr. Okay, but look at the 6th edition or later. Okay. Now, number 10, a long history of trade by sea. A long history of trade by sea. According to Paul Alfred Barton, the author of A History of the African Olmecs, Black Civilizations of America from Prehistoric Times to the Present Era. Ancient kingdoms in West Africa have a long history of trade by sail, which made it all the more likely that they eventually expanded their trade to the Americas. While the Sahara is a dry desert today, it's passed as a lake-filled, wet and fertile place, what has been well documented. African ships often cross these large lakes to get from place to place and traded with other African civilizations along the way. After expanding their trade to the Americas, they certainly made their mark as things like African native cotton were soon being discovered all across North America. All right, so, and once again, we took cotton into Europe. We introduced sugar and rice and cotton in Europe when the Moors go in, and around 9th and 10th century, they're going to introduce this. And I wish we had never taught them. All that stuff came back to kick us in the behind. The Moors are going, Dr. Jose Pimenta Bay talks about how the Moors took in something called a fire stick. It was a long stick. It fired one round. This was like one of your first type of guns. and they're going to teach this technology to Europeans, and Europeans are going to master this. Okay, this is why I say I wish we had never taught them. The Moors did Europeans more benefit than they did African people more benefit. I wish we had never taught them, because all that stuff came back to kick us in the behind. Check out this article, 10 Pieces of Evidence That Prove Black People Sailed to the Americas Long Before Columbus. We have this posted on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. The African History Network is from Atlanta, blackstar.com. All right, now, I got to get out of here in a minute here. This date in African American history. Anna W. Bontemps, Bontemps, poet, author, and educator, was born on this date in 1902. One of Bontemps' most notable works is a collection of poems by black poets called Golden Slippers. On this date in 1914, Garrett A. Morgan patented the gas mask. Okay, on this date in 1914, patent number 1113675. 1113675. This breathing device was used during World War I. In 1916, Garrett A. Morgan used his invention to rescue 2 people and retrieve 4 bodies from a gas-filled tunnel in Lake Erie near Cleveland, Ohio. On this date, 1926, Jesse Leroy Brown, the first black naval aviator, was born on this date, 1926. You can read more facts about this date in African and African American history at Yenoba.com, YENOBA, Yenoba.com. All right, that's going to do it for us. We got to get out of here. You can listen to the Michael Imhotep Show in overtime right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. We're on Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time on the Empowerment Radio Network, Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, for more information on how to listen to the show. Also, check out our DVDs. They're on the website. And you can get my presentation, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, and Should African Americans Celebrate European Holidays, the History of Halloween, as well as the Empowerment Bundle Pack 1 and 2. You get 6 of my DVD presentations for only $50 with each Empowerment Bundle Pack. Remember, on the Michael Imhotep Show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Time to carry on. Never see us gone. You ain't gonna never see us.